To a degree, I mean, to a much bigger degree than you can imagine, I've always viewed when we're judging in the oral rounds that I want to make it be just like what occurs when I'm meeting with a junior associate and a client. And the client comes in, and I, at least in my practice and at Baker in our group, we expect junior associates, even first-year associates, to be involved in meetings with clients. It's not just the partners that meet with the clients. And we try very hard not to have associates just do research projects, but to do things and then come into the meeting with the client and present to the client. That's the only way you'll learn. And so I view the finals as being just like that, where they're coming in and explaining to both the client and the partner, here's my analysis, here's your problem, recognizing that I will, in the end, as the partner, make the final determination for the client. But this is your chance to shine and show the way you think. I'm going to take the little side trip because about the lady's question. I would say that in most years in the finals, we will make sure, because we present in the finals, we will set up some type of either an ethical or conflict situation. We do it quite intentionally. And that's because, at least in my firm, I can't speak for anybody else, we specifically charge every lawyer, and particularly the junior lawyers. We have mandatory ethics training for all of our lawyers several times a year, and they are expected to raise conflicts when they see them. It's part of raising things, just like they're expected to raise things like reportable transactions. We haven't thrown those at you yet, but you never know. And the whole point is that as a young lawyer, you have the exact same obligation to raise ethical issues as does a partner. You have the exact same obligation. And indeed, you're doing your firm a favor, because sometimes the partners, let's be honest, sometimes the partners are chasing after business or trying to create a relationship. And it's helpful sometimes when you have the younger lawyers say, hey, do we have a conflict here? Is there an ethical question? And I'm always proud of a young lawyer when they raise that question to me. And I view the finals as the exact same thing. This is a young lawyer reporting to the client and the partner. And if there's an issue that they need to know about, whether it's a we can't do it, or there's an ethical issue, or who's in the room, and oh, by the way, am I privileged if I'm talking to you now because you brought your girlfriend with me, which we have done a number of times. It's important, and the judges, we discuss it in advance when we do it, and it's the type of thing that you, as professors, when you're teaching your students how to go in front of a client, those are real-world situations. Now, that's my view. Armando may view it differently, but that's the way I look at it.
No, I certainly have the absolute same view, and I remember the fact pattern from a couple of years ago, where the setup was that at the meeting was the senior partner, the client, and some relative of the client, and that raised the issue. Were you going to have a waiver of privilege with that third party in the conversation? And some of the teams identified it in their presentation at the outset, and some didn't. And so, but it's an issue that's there. In other, I know in at least a few years, the judges, when we prepared, have said, there's an issue here that maybe we didn't see in the bench memo that's prepared for us, but that sort of raises an ethical question, and we find a way to get it out there through our questions. Sometimes it's whichever one of us is playing the role of the client, will ask a question that, squarely raises, an issue of ethics. And we do it simply to see, but if we're going to do that, we'll do it with every team that comes in front of us because we want to be fair. But we want to see how do the teams react and do they identify the issue. And it's really something that's, I know for Dick and myself, it's an area that's core in our practice, and so that's, I think, why we pursue those things. But I agree with Dick. Everyone has an obligation for ethics, and just because someone misses an issue doesn't mean that the junior person on the team shouldn't raise it if they see it.